Okay, so today we're going to be covering the finer aspects of using FFARs. Relates to your anthill strikes, but you know, it can be used outside of anthill. If you ever get called in on just an FFAR guns run, this works fine. So take note of what I'm doing here. I'm getting that airspeed up, and eventually here I'm going to be climbing up into higher altitude levels, so I'm going to raise my altitude. So when I pop up, I'm not over my my terrain that I'm using as the barrier. I'm behind it, so when I do, you know, execute my strike, as you'll see here in a moment, I can then duck down behind it again without having to worrying about hitting, you know, the change in elevation, that area where it changes. Again, when you're using FFARs, you want to be using single shot mode. Never go full auto with them. You're going to find that you dump them all in the same place, and if you're off just a little bit, good luck, you're going to go back to base, resupply. It's a pain in the ass. And then, after I hit my strike, turn out, pop flares, back down behind terrain, low and fast. Here we can check the BDA on the target. It's about 3 out of 5 targets destroyed, so 60 over 100, or 6 out of 10 I think we're using now. And not a bad run for FFARs. Realistically, that's what we would have hit if we had dumped the entire mag at the start, or the entire 2 pods. And we've saved a lot of ammo, so we can come back in on a re-attack run if JTAC wants us to. Or, you know, we could call it there, and it's a pretty good effect. So again, running another strike here to the west of the sugar factory. Note again what I'm doing, keeping my altitude relative to the ground high, so I can turn out defensive if I need to. And I'm going to pop up well behind my terrain barrier and engage from range with the FFARs. 2 click, inside of 2 click, 2.5 click, that's your window where you want to be engaging. Anything less than 1 click, you're going to struggle to adjust onto your target as you need to. You notice here I'm ruddering left and right, and my responsiveness of the aircraft's higher than it would be if I was further out. If you ignore my 2 AIM-9 shots, this is me not checking my master armament, but you can see there's FFARs, they're getting good splashes, and I'm still a fair ways out, and here I'm turning out, having deemed the strike was good, and I'm back down behind terrain here in a moment. Safe, sound, decent effect on target. I think this one's 2 out of 5. Still not a bad run, and if this was an anthill strike, the bird coming in behind me would have ideally see that I haven't hit everything, and, you know, re-engage as need be. And keep in mind, I don't have a gunner on the cannon here, this is just an AI. So the gunner would also be mopping stuff up. So there we go, 2 out of 5. Not a bad little run for, you know, the challenges of it. Keep that in mind. High above your or looking over the top of the terrain feature instead of just flying over the top of it. So again, going to be coming in on a run on that same target. We're going to take a slightly different angle here, and again, watch my my climb rate indicator on the right, the little arrow that's pointing towards my collective bar. That thing's rising very quickly, showing my rate of climb, but my airspeed's not really dropping off that much, so I can be at about 200 knots and still get almost full rate of climb out of the aircraft. And you see now I've got full rate of climb. The airspeed's dropping a bit, but, you know, I don't have to be running completely full speed when I do these attacks. I just want to have a good bit of airspeed, so if I do get a launch on my aircraft, I can turn out, maneuver all I want, and be safe from the target. So we're coming in again here. Range is still looking pretty decent on the target, and we've got that altitude buffer below us, so I'm going to be popping over the range, or getting my sight line over the top of that range. And here we go, we're in sight. This is why you use your single shot, because you would have seen that first little ripple went a bit high. And look how many FFARs I just launched. That's I believe 14. That's not bad from the pods. That's a decent amount. It's not too many, they're not all landing in the same spot, so I'm using them effectively, getting good dispersion on the target area. Turning out, popping flares, and here we'll see the BDA, which I believe is 3 out of 5. So not a bad little strike there again. Keep in mind I can't see them from this distance, so if I imagine if it was a desert floor and I could see all of them, I would have popped targets to my heart's content. But you can see there, good strike. And we'll have one final run after this, and I'll show it to you again. You want to be high on your ingress run. Do a pop-up behind the terrain feature. Get that sight line over the top of the terrain. Fire the missiles off. and then turn out while you've still got that terrain to use your advantage. If you've got an unknown SAM presence or a known SAM presence and JTACs wants you to run a strike, this is going to be useful for you, because when AI are asleep or not alert, so in careless behaviour mode, they won't wake up until you basically run over the top of them, or rounds start popping off around you. So this will work fine, you're not overflying the target, and there'll be a video coming up where we discuss the downside of flying over a SAM site or a manpad site that's asleep, but we're keeping our standoff distance from the target. Here I'm launching from ages out again. See, I think my first shot's going a little high, second shot goes a little low, and I just slowly ripple them until I start getting good effect on target here, or landing them where I want them to land. And then I see that I start getting close to my terrain feature, so I'm going to turn out. Pop flares as I turn out, down low to the ground, and out I go. I'm off hot, back the way I came in. That is how you run your FFAR strikes. If you don't have terrain features to hide behind, use the same concepts, high altitude, looking down on the target. It'll save you a lot when it comes to dealing with manpads and other types of anti-air missiles. Here you can see the BDA, it's only one. We've probably got decent splash damage on another, but again, if we're running that anthill strike, we're going to have more aircraft coming in behind to, help mitigate those negatives. So keep it in mind. That's how you run your FFAR strikes. I'll catch us in training and expect to be going over anthill in the next few weeks here.